Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a look at Azerbaijan's weather for July 2025, but also placing it in the context of, well, the bigger climate picture there.
Exactly.
We've gathered quite a bit detailed forecasts for Baku, some broader climate risk reports, and we're aiming to, pull out the key things you need to know.
Right. Understand the forecast, but also what's behind the forecast.
Precisely. The immediate weather, what it implies, and how it fits into these larger shifts happening in Azerbaijan. Some surprising stuff in here, too.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's jump in. Early July. Baku.
Right. Baku. The city of winds, and early July, around the 4th to the 6th, 2025, it looks like it's going to live up to that name.
Okay, so warm and windy. That's the headline.
Pretty much. You're looking at partly cloudy to sunny skies, highs maybe 76 to 80 Fahrenheit. That's about 24 to 26, 27 Celsius.
And it'll feel like the high 70s, you said.
Yeah, feels like high 70s Fahrenheit, so around 25, 26 C. But the wind, that's the main story. Strong northerly winds, pretty consistent.
And strong are we talking?
Forecasts say around 26 to 28 miles per hour. That's like 42 to 45 kilometers per hour. And gusts are definitely possible.
Okay, classic Baku then. But, looking beyond just winds and sun for those few days, is there something else going on, like a deeper climate signal, even if the daily forecast doesn't show rain?
That's a really important point because, yeah, those specific dates, no rain forecasted. But Azerbaijan has this persistent underlying risk.
Risk of what?
Localized, pretty intense, short bursts of rain or thunderstorms, especially actually in early July. It's a background risk that's always sort of there.
So the daily forecast might say sunny, but the broader climate pattern means a sudden downpour isn't impossible.
Exactly. It highlights that difference between the specific day's weather and the region's overall climate variability. Intense rain is always a possibility, lurking in the background.
Interesting. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. Mid-July, say July 13th, 2025. Big change.
Big change. Much hotter. The forecast for Baku then is looking sunny, high around 92 Fahrenheit. That's 33 Celsius.
92.
Okay. But the 5 feels like temperature. That's projected to hit 95 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius.
Wow. Okay. That's definitely stepping into extreme heat territory for the city.
It absolutely is. And this isn't just a one-off hot day prediction. The historical trend is, well, it's pretty stark.
How so? What does the data show?
Okay, get this. Between 1960 and 1990, right? Over those 30 years, Baku had about 86 days in total during the summer months where the temperature hit 95 Fahrenheit or higher.
86 days over 30 summers. Okay.
Now look at the next 30 years. 1991 to 2020, that number jumped to 365 days.
Wait, 365? Over the same period?
Over the same 30-year summer period, yes. It's a fourfold increase. Just staggering.
Yes, staggering is the word. A fourfold increase in extreme heat days. That fundamentally changes the character of the city's summer, doesn't it?
It really does. And something else makes it worse.
What's that?
The urban heat island effect. All the buildings, the concrete, the asphalt, in a dense city like Baku, it absorbs and traps heat.
Right, making the city hotter than surrounding areas.
Exactly. Sometimes significantly hotter, like maybe 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. That's 12 to 14 Fahrenheit hotter, especially at night.
And this isn't just about being uncomfortable, is it? There are real impacts.
Oh, absolutely. Think about working outside or even inside without good cooling. Labor productivity starts to drop off noticeably once temperatures get above, say, 24 to 26 Celsius. So those 35 C feels like days. They have real economic consequences.
Okay, so these daily snapshots, they're really just symptoms of a much bigger shift. You mentioned Azerbaijan overall is already 1.3 degrees Celsius hotter since 2010. Extreme weather is increasing. What's the bigger climate story playing out here?
Well, it's interesting because there's a bit of a paradox happening.
A paradox? How?
Okay, so overall atmospheric precipitation, the total amount of rain and snow has actually decreased slightly across Azerbaijan since 2011 by about 5%.
Okay, so it's getting drier overall.
Yes. But, and this is the paradox, the frequency and the intensity of heavy rainfall events are projected to increase.
Wait, less rain overall, but when it does rain, it's more likely to be a deluge.
Exactly that. You get longer dry spells, which increases the risk of drought. But then these are punctuated by really severe short bursts of heavy rain that overwhelm drainage systems, cause flash floods. So you're kind of getting hit from both sides, more drought and more flood risk.
It's a really difficult combination to manage.
Yeah.
Drier spells, worse floods. And it's not just happening on land, right? The Caspian Sea is changing too.
Indeed it is. The Caspian is warming up significantly. They recorded a record high water temperature of 30 degrees Celsius, that's 86 Fahrenheit, back in 2021.
Wow.
And maybe even more worrying, its water levels are dropping. Less fresh water is flowing into it from rivers, and that, combined with other factors, means the Caspian Sea is actually shrinking.
Shrinking. That has huge implications,
I see.
especially considering water resources.
Huge. Azerbaijan is already facing severe water stress. Projections suggest it could be among the 13 countries globally with the lowest water resources per person by next year, 2025.
And a lot of its water comes from rivers that cross borders, right?
Yes, a significant amount comes from transboundary rivers. This creates what experts call a high transboundary climate risk. Basically, competition for scarce water resources between countries could become a serious issue as climate change bites harder.
So it really sounds like climate change is acting as a threat multiplier here. It's taking existing vulnerabilities, environmental, economic, social, and just making them worse.
That's a very accurate way to put it. It exacerbates existing pressures.
So wrapping this up, what's the one thing that really stands out to you from all this?
For me, it's that fundamental shift in identity for a place like Baku. Going from the historical city of winds to increasingly a city of heat, that long-term trend is just undeniable and overpowers the day-to-day weather noise.
Yeah, that transformation is really striking, and it leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Not just for Azerbaijan, but for all of us facing this accelerating climate change. How do we move past just reacting to tomorrow's forecast? How do we actually adapt, truly adapt, to a future where the basic nature of our environment, the climate identity of places we know, is fundamentally changing right before our eyes?